Now, moving on to the last question. I've been asked, how did you use media technologies in the construction and research, planning and evaluation stages? Now, what I did with this question was I split it up into two parts. First, looking at the hardware, and then going on to look at the software. At first, the hardware which we used the most were the iMacs at school. Now, these were really easy to use, these were really versatile and really quick as well. So these really helped when we're uploading videos up to YouTube and things like that. We used the Macs for the research and planning stages too, but the majority of the Macs were used for the editing, for pictures, music and video. The second piece of hardware which we used was my Acer Chromebook laptop. Now, just as Macs, these were really versatile, these were really good to use, easy to use, and helped us along the way. Now, the reason why we actually used the laptop was because of the website. With the website, we used Wix.com, which I'll talk to you about in the software section. We used it because of the framing. Comparing it to the Mac screen, I thought that the laptop was much better, not only because it was smaller, but in terms of the Mac, it had a larger screen, and even if you put hyperlinks or buttons on your website using Wix.com, they didn't really come out properly. So on some areas they used to be cut out, some areas you couldn't see the pictures properly, and on the laptop, on the other hand, everything was so compact and all together on one screen, and when transferred to the iMac, it actually came out better. The next piece of hardware we used were two JVC camcorders. Now, we're fortunate enough to have this media equipment at our school, so we managed to borrow it from our library. We had a Rode mic on this camera to really help with the sound, to make it more crisp and make it more clear. In terms of the camera itself, the reason why we chose the JVC camcorders rather than the other cameras which we had at school, because of the quality. Now, you're probably seeing at the moment that I'm using the same camera and the quality is really good. It's HD at 1080p and it really works well with news reports and videos in general as well. Now, for the next piece of hardware linking into the camera were the Rode mics. Now, these really helped us throughout the whole of the video, just like the camera, because these gave out crisp sound when we transferred it all to Premiere Elements and gave a better sound quality rather than just a basic general mic inside of a camera. Now, sound's a real big issue here because we use these to enhance sound, and these did make the sound better, but in terms of quality it was lacking because we could hear a lot of wind sound. Now, what we did with that was that we used my earphones. Now, with my earphones there is a small mic as well, so we managed to attach that to my coat when going out and filming and getting a more clearer sound when editing it on Premiere Elements. Finally, for a last piece of hardware, we managed to get our hands on a gaming PC. Now, this was owned by Jordan and we used this for our screen recordings, our gameplay and recording in general. Now, this helped us a lot in terms of getting great 1080p 60 FPS video content, and with a GTX 970 graphics card it allowed us to capture crisp content too. I believe that without this it would have been really hard for us to create our final outcome for the final piece. So now going on to the software side. We used a variety of softwares and I would like to start this off with Prezi. Now, we use Prezi to showcase what we learned and explored over the years. It's a presentation software at the end of the day which is really easy to use and it's really user friendly too. Also, when presenting ideas in class it helped us out quite a lot. The next software we used, which I thought was really useful, was ThingLink. Now, this is an online presentation software, once again just like Prezi, but here you could pin information onto a photo in the background, and I think it was much more simple, quick and efficient to use and helped our group immensely, because on this software you could literally just click on one side of any picture you would like on the background and write text, explain, add a video and also add different images as well. So I thought it was really open, really quick and easy to use rather than other different softwares for presenting ideas. Now, the next piece of software which we used was just important like the other softwares, and this was YouTube. Now, we used this to look up videos, inspirations and especially tutorials to help us out in the other softwares such as Adobe After After Effects and Adobe Premiere Elements. We also looked at things for our website and other aspects as well, such as how to move things on Wix if Wix didn't really explain it well, or things like that. We used this quite a lot, and we had to upload multiple videos as well in our project, so YouTube was a really important software which we had to use overall. I also got to use Padlet and Emaze. Now, both of these softwares, just like Prezi and ThingLink, are presentation softwares. These were used for my research and planning stages, and I was going to use them for this evaluation too. But unfortunately, being honest here, I didn't really like them as they're really complicated and extremely time consuming. With ThingLink, comparing it to Emaze and Padlet, I think was easier, simple and effective to use, and that was really the best version for me. Rather than spending an hour on Emaze with all the animations and stuff like that, with ThingLink you can just, as mentioned before, have one key point, click on one area in the image, and then have your text, have your image, and present everything like that. We used an array of software on the iMacs at school too, and I'd like to start off with Photoshop. Photoshop was one of them, and this was really easy to use and extremely useful, but at the same time it was very difficult to use. Instead of this, we did use another photo editing software which was online, and this was called PicMonkey. Now, with some editing which we did on Photoshop, we then transferred it off to PicMonkey and sorted some glowing out in terms of our logo and things like that. To be honest, we did use some tutorials from YouTube to help us with Photoshop, but then again, I thought that was really time consuming and didn't really help us because we had that to do, then we had the editing to do with our filming. So I thought that if Photoshop was slightly easier to use, it would have been more beneficial for us in terms of time, but at the end of the day we did finish our news package all on time, so that wasn't really a problem. In terms of the main project, now here I'm referring to the actual news report, we used Adobe Premiere Elements number 12. Here and there were some problems with the software closing down, but if you did save the project which you're working on, this wouldn't really be a problem. On the whole, it worked really well for us, and if we did have any problems, we could refer to tutorials online on YouTube, but with Adobe Premiere Elements, it had a great feature on the software itself where we could refer to the software and ask questions to the software simply, and it could help us by giving us answers and giving us video tutorials for cuts, playing with sound and other aspects like that. So I think that on the whole it was really user friendly and it helped us a lot with our project on the whole. Next, in terms of software, we used Adobe After Effects. Now this was complicated at first, but then again, once we got to grips with it, it did seem slightly easy. In terms of the complications, when we started our infographics or when we started our statistics, on the actual After Effects compositions, we had problems where we had to keep them moving to Premiere Elements as the program kept on crashing and we didn't really know how to use them. Once these issues were solved, we did manage to use it in a sophisticated manner with help of online tutorials as well as our teachers helping us on the whole as well. AirDrop was another fantastic software which we used mainly when transferring pictures and videos from the Macs at school and from my iPod too when recording the sound down in London. It was fast and efficient and saved us a lot of time rather than saving everything onto USB sticks, onto flash drives, and especially onto Gmail, Google Drives and things like that, as that was really time consuming. We also used something called NVIDIA Shadowplay. This was a recording software which Jordan used when recording our gameplay. It was really easy to record videos due to the fast export time and the compatibility between different files such as MP4 and MOV. Finally, coming to the vital software which we used throughout the year, this was Blogger. Now, we used it from the start of the year and we're still using it now, so when I finish this evaluation, it will be going on Blogger. We worked on all our different research and planning tasks on Blogger itself, and we displayed all our findings on this, and we thought it was the best software to use when presenting everything. You can add HTML links into it as well to embed YouTube videos if you wanted to, or different tutorials, or when talking about the research and planning, adding pictures and things like that. I thought it was a great software to use and helped us along the way. Now, coming to Wix. Wix.com was a very important software to us. This is a website creating software. We used this software for the first time and we thought it was an amazing piece of kit for creating websites, from the different logos you could add on, from the different pictures, from the different buttons you could have. It had an array of different things which you could do and made our website professional. I was the one who created the vast majority of the website, and using Wix for the first time I thought it was really easy to use. Personally, I think with all the different features it had in store for us, it made the task seem easier than it looked. Finally, coming on to sound. GarageBand and Audacity was used for the creation of the music. Jordan and I used it a lot in the media lessons on the Macs and used it to create the synthetic beat for our retro 80s theme, which we're going for. GarageBand helped us a lot in terms of the music editing overall, and Audacity acted as a backup, which we used if there were any problems with the system, like the background noise and other elements too. With GarageBand, I think it was really helpful because you can mix an array of different musical instruments to the track which you're playing with, from synthetic basses all the way down to drums, pianos and different types of musical instruments, and obviously edit all that up together. With Audacity, I think it was much more straightforward. If you did do something on GarageBand and then transferred it onto Audacity to tweak a bit of things, Audacity would have been the one to use because it's extremely easy to use and helpful at the same time. So overall, I think that this project was really exciting to work on, and I hope you guys enjoyed it too.